Hi guys, welcome back to part two of this podcast style video where myself and Dan, both engineering students, will share some more tips on how you can make the most out of your time at university as an engineer, and some other tips that might help you along the way whilst you're at university studying engineering. So let's get into the video. And so on to our next point is our tip to optimize. Actually, yes, we'll go on to that one then. Optimize your time managing stuff at uni, because uni can be, hectic. There's like multiple things that you're doing constantly, like assignments, your lectures. In our final year, we have our dissertation as well on top of these other two things. So um, your ability to manage time has to be really quite good. And I don't know, how do you manage your time, Dan?
So the way I manage my time is probably quite different to you, as what I do is before the start of every week, I have a rough timetable, which is the same one that we're given by the university. It says what lectures and tutorials we'll have. And what I do is I just go through it and think, right, what do I need to do before this tutorial? And then I just make a mental note of when I need to do it. So it isn't quite as rigid and structured as some people may have it, but I find that it means that I have the flexibility to be able to make quick changes and not have it break a very rigid system that I've produced.
Hmm. Yeah, I think you have a very different approach to it than I do. So for me, I use like a Google Calendar to sort of like plan out when and how long I should do certain tasks. And I feel that way helps me the most. So I can say, in this block of 2 hours, you need to work on your dissertation. And so through that, I know that during that 2 hour period, that's why I should focus on just doing my dissertation. And I just try and get as much done as I can in that 2 hours. It doesn't force me to complete it, but I just ensure that I allocate enough time so that by the end of when it's due, it's fully completed. And I do that with quite a number of other things. And also planning stuff that's not related to work itself. So I plan in time so when I can go cycling and stuff like that, just so I can have like a well balanced, you know, I guess life really. Because sometimes you can forget to look after yourself, so it's always useful to plan in stuff like that, which is not work, to ensure you don't become unhealthy and unfit and whatever. So I'd say, yeah, I mean, time management really helps, because otherwise you could end up being really good in one area and then all the other areas where you need to focus on as well have started to slack. So yeah, time management is definitely key if you want to do well.
Yeah, so in terms of keeping a good work-life balance, throughout university, I've always tried to not do work past 6 p.m. really. And then if I do have to do work past then, I have a hard cut-off at 9.
Hmm.
So no matter what, even if there's a deadline in 5 days, I stop work at 9 and I go play video games, or I watch some TV, or I watch some YouTube videos, and make sure that I have some time to unwind and get some good sleep before the next working day. As I find that I just am not very productive when I get later on into the day. So it's better to just cut my losses then and get back onto it the following day.
Yeah, I guess ultimately then, like, our tip is just if you're able to figure out how to manage your time well, then you can, allow yourself time off, because, you can trust yourself that you'll get the work done, but then also have the time to, have a bit of some downtime and make sure you don't burn out, because burnout is pretty much like the worst thing you can experience, because you're going to be super, productive for maybe like a day or two and then crash out for the rest of the week, which is not sustainable. So yeah, definitely get on top of managing your time. That's a tip that I'd say, and what Dan would agree on as well. So our next one is taking up leadership positions in various roles in uni. So for me, I became a project leader of a student project where I led a team to develop a sun tracking telescope system. Dan was actually in my team when I was in that position. And ultimately, building your leadership skills in uni is greatly useful, especially when you're looking to go into industry after university, because they look for people who are able to, work well with a team, motivate a team, and leadership really teaches you those sort of skills. And I know Dan's also has a lot of leadership skills through his teaching of CAD. So I don't know if Dan, you want to add stuff onto this?
Yeah, so in teaching CAD, I've got an assistant that I need to keep motivated and ensure that they're keeping involved in the classes, along with having to actually lead the students as well, as it's a bit pointless if I'm just sat there speaking to an empty room of people just on their phones scrolling through Insta or Twitter. That's not going to be very good for anyone. So, what I do is I mainly focus on communication and making sure that I get feedback from the people that are working with me. So getting feedback from my assistant for how he feels it's going, whether he's wanting to do more in the class or whether I'm putting too much work onto him.
Mm.
And then with the students, it's about asking about what they understand, if there's any gaps, how I can help fill them, and doing regular updates throughout the class of are you understanding what I'm saying? And this communication is vital to ensure that when you're leading something, it's actually being useful.
Yeah. I agree with that because, like, I think it's also important to know if you're working well in that leadership position to always figure out, like, if there's anything to improve upon. I remember when I was leading Sunbite, I asked the team, right, like, if there's any areas that I personally could improve to help the team. And actually, I remember that you made a suggestion of an area where I could improve, which is great because, otherwise I wouldn't have known that's somewhere I had to work on to improve my leadership within the team. Because ultimately, as a leader, you're not there to, you know, take all the rewards yourself because that's just, that's not being a leader. That's just being well, I don't know how to best phrase it, but a dickhead pretty much. Um, but like, yeah, as a leader, you're there to, work with the team and bring the team together to achieve that goal. So it's it's as much as your duty to improve your ability to lead the team as it is for you to ensure the rest of your team is working well on the project. And ultimately, that like getting leadership experiences early on is always useful because leadership is a weird thing where you can't learn it from reading a book or whatever. You have to just get involved and do it. So the earlier you start, the better. And yeah, university has so many opportunities for you to do that. You might as well make the most of it. Um, okay, so we have our final point. So this is to do with getting as many scholarships as you can. I'll let Dan start this off because Dan, I know, has a insane track record of doing this. So Dan, take it away.
Certainly. So when it comes to scholarships, the approach I've always taken is if there's one, I may as well apply. As if you meet the criteria for what it's asking for, it means that you are one of the people that this scholarship is supposed to help. If you don't apply to the scholarship, you'll never get it. But if you do apply, you have a reasonable chance of getting, I don't know, £600 a semester to help you with housing payments or to help you with making sure you've got enough good, healthy food for you to eat. And this means that you don't have to worry as much about, oh, have I got enough to get to the end of this month?
Mm.
Will I have to pick up a part-time job and spend less time on my studies and my development at university?
Yeah.
And it really helps to reduce the financial stress that you have, and instead it helps you focus more on your university life.
I guess some of the trickiest thing with scholarships though is knowing, where to find them and how like, where they exist sort of thing. So how did you go about actually finding the scholarships?
So the way about of the way I went about it was I just simply Googled. So once I had the few universities that I had uh, narrowed it down to when I was looking in A levels, I then said, okay, let's just Google them and see what comes out. So there would be, I don't know, for Leeds, there could be a scholarship for £1,000 where if you apply to it, you could get that much money if you put them as your first option, for
Mm.
example. Then another one is many universities have specific websites as part of their online system for scholarships. So you'd be able to Google to reach those, and then you can see what scholarships that they have, which ones you might be eligible for. For example, by just Googling and having a little look on their website, I found a scholarship called Global Scholars, and it enabled me to go on that summer school to South Korea for free.
Yeah.
I got the flights, accommodation, and the summer school itself all paid for by the University of Sheffield.
Yeah.
Only reason why I found that is because I Googled scholarships, University of Sheffield.
I guess, it's simple as, when you put it like that. And yeah, I mean, so in terms of scholarships as well, it's not only unis that offer you scholarships, so industry as well. I managed to land a scholarship, like an industry scholarship, where they were giving me what, like 4,000 a year for being on the scholarship. So and that was it was really weird how I discovered that because I just found a leaflet in like the kitchen table one day and then I was like, oh, this looks cool. I'm eligible. Let me just apply. So I guess I had the same mentality as you, as where I found the scholarship and was like, oh, okay, well, I can apply, so I might as well, right? Um, so I guess that's the best attitude to take from it. And if you can have access to that money, then why not, right? So I mean, it makes sense. I think what was it interesting about you, Dan, last year? Didn't you profit from your scholarships or something?
Oh, yeah, so I ended up getting more money out of the university than I was paying in tuition fees.
That's pretty badass, I guess. So yeah, I mean, see, you can somehow profit with scholarships as well if you're a scholarships wizard like Dan. So definitely, have a look out for scholarships and so on. And yeah, I mean, that's the 6 tips that we wanted to discuss today. I don't know, Dan, if you had any that you thought of, because I know these 6 tips were mostly mine, apart from the scholarships one that was your suggestion. But yeah, did you have anything else to add for students in engineering?
I would just say enjoy your time at uni. It's limited,
Yeah.
and you're paying to go and do it. So you may as well go and enjoy your time here.
Yeah, I guess
So,
like meeting people, getting involved in activities and just, getting the most out of uni is always the best way to have fun there. So that's the end of our little discussion and tips video of how to make the most of your time at uni. And yeah, if you thought this was useful, enjoyed it, did you learn anything new, comment down below. Like the video and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Thanks Dan for coming on this video and sharing your thoughts really. And yeah, any final words you want to tell people watching this if they're going into engineering or thinking about engineering?
I would like to say that you need to like, comment, and subscribe to Mr. Saga here, as he is a wonderful YouTuber.
Thank you very much, Dan. I appreciate that a lot. Oh well, take care, everyone. Enjoy whatever you're doing, wherever you are, and see you in my next video. Adios, amigos.